Hi, and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's review for the Expanse Season 2, Episode 4, Godspeed. This video is a part of a series of videos where I review episodes of the Expanse, so I'll have to start by giving a spoiler warning for the Expanse up to Season 2, Episode 4. If you haven't seen up to this point, you may not want to watch this video, otherwise some things may be spoiled for you. So, this episode was pretty good. I don't think I'll think back on it as a standout once the season is finished, but it certainly kept the memento of the season going, and certainly had a bit more meat on it than the previous episode, but still focused a bit too much on the mission to destroy Eros, where I wanted to see more of what else was going on, but that's fine because I know I'm just being impatient. I know that the season needs to pace itself and can't just blow through the plot too quickly. I had to be honest, though, the most interesting part of this episode to me wasn't their mission to blow up the Arrow Station, but was the storyline with Avasarala and her discovering the stealth ship and connecting it to Jules Pierre Mal. This was very interesting, especially her move to push the destroyed stealth ship out in the open so that Mal's connection to the stealth ship would become public knowledge. And it would seem like she had him on the defense as he reads a public news story about his connection and then seeing Avasarala grill him in front of Aaron Wright, whom we know is in cahoots with Mal but could do nothing to protect him. However, the following scene was very interesting because it shows that Avasarala may have just tipped her hand, as Mal is now fully aware that she knows what's going on and is working against him. So even though it may seem like Avasarala was gaining the upper hand over Mal, things may not be as they appear, and in fact she may have just made a huge mistake by showing her hand. As we see, Mal feels he doesn't even need Aaron Wright anymore, which would suggest he has far more power than the UN and could just act without them, which I totally buy. And it seems clear that regardless of what you may think of him, Mal truly believes what he is doing is for the betterment of all mankind. So this is setting up Mal to be a very powerful adversary, and I absolutely love it, as I love this actor and I think he could play a really great villain, so I hope he stays around for a while. So it seems the story they're setting up with Fred Johnson and Avasarala teaming up to expose Mal, while Miller and Holden work together to destroy the proto-monocle and Eros. So it looks like the heroes could win the day, but because we know the show is based off a series of novels where the material is, this point still covering the first book out of an entire series of novels, so we know this situation will not be resolved so quickly. In fact, I sense a lot of major setbacks coming for our heroes, as they've been doing pretty damn well for themselves this season so far, so they can't keep this up. So I sense a reversal of fortune pretty damn close. Now, I was a bit disappointed we didn't get more of Bobby Draper, her storyline this episode, because I'm really liking this character and I can't wait to see where they're going with her. But if they're not quite ready to get there yet, that's fine. I'll be patient and I'll accept that. So I did like the mission to destroy Arrow's storyline. It is interesting that they found a way to keep Miller around, because after last week I was thinking that he would be leaving, and I love how Holden had to swallow his pride and work with Miller regardless. It's also interesting that Fred Johnson is screwing himself by screwing the Mormons, and I was a bit disappointed we didn't actually get to see the Mormons' reaction to their ship being stolen in this episode, but I imagine I won't have to wait very long to see it. I liked Miller's relationship with that water-stealing belter thug kid, whoever he was. They had a really nice chemistry to them, and it seems like this character is here to stay. So it made it so much more rewarding that Miller was willing to sacrifice himself to save his life, which totally makes sense for his character. And the side storyline with the Rocinante finding the ship from Doctors Without Borders or whatever was also very interesting. It was interesting how the Rocinante had to play the role of the Martian military, which only made matters worse, as that put those doctors in a more adversarial position, as they thought they were doing the right thing and exposing a military cover-up, but really they would have made the situation much worse. So it was interesting seeing Holden, who was so deathly against killing anyone, regardless of how much they deserved it, being forced to kill people whom he knew didn't deserve it. But he knew the risk of the protomolecule spreading was worse than anything. So we've seen Holden's character evolving just over the course of these 2 seasons, and although I was a bit annoyed with how naive he was in season 1, it seems they are building him to become more of a skeptical, war-hardened type who's learning a lot, to be a bit more sort of worn down, and this is very interesting and very well played. But of course, the big shocker of this episode was when their plan to destroy Eros failed, when the Mormon ship missed Eros, and it's not because it moved, but because Eros moved, which shouldn't be possible. So it highly suggests that the protomolecule is intelligent, an intelligent form of life that's capable of moving an entire asteroid. This was perfectly eerie, and I can't wait to see where they take this from here. Although I, was pretty happy that Miller didn't die. I honestly thought he was a goner because, I'm not sure how he'll get out of his current situation, but I'm pretty sure he will. But for the moment, at least, I thought he was actually done for, which I wouldn't put past the show to kill him because they've shown that they have an ability to be unpredictable. But I love how Nomi and Holden, who hated Miller before, were all of a sudden crying over his death. I think his willingness to sacrifice himself will endear him more to Holden, who will forget about whatever grudges he had against him. But that's just my prediction. So my rating for Godspeed out of 10 is an 8, extremely good. Another great episode in what's looking to be a great season, although it didn't push the story forward as much as I would have liked. It did set up some fascinating storylines, as well as having great character building story for Holden, as he was forced to kill innocent people who only meant well, as well as a very exciting cliffhanger ending that's setting up for some great things to come with the protomolecule. So that's it for my review of Godspeed. Be sure to check out my channel as I continue to review episodes of The Expanse, as well as doing many more videos on shows like Game of Thrones, Star Trek, Black Sails, The 100, and more. So be sure to subscribe so you can keep up with all of that. Thanks a lot for watching.